everyone. It's Thursday. How's everyone doing on this rainy April morning? Wanted to give a little announcement. There's been a slight change in the way we are presenting writing to you because what we do is to teach you some fundamentals of grammar, and then we go into writing technique. So it's going to be broken into two separate classes. And generally, this first one is pretty brief. And then I wanted to be able to go more into detail about writing, putting that all together, making your essays for the exam look great, giving you the ability to write good professional letters when you need resumes and cover letters. So we're going to be doing this way from now on. So writing part one at 10:30, part two at 11, and then on with science at 11:30. And this is for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we got that. And there's one brief thing we want to talk about today, and it is with writing. It is with, one second. Let me get that up, pull this over, and it's a lesson on choosing words that express ideas precisely and concisely and eliminating wordiness because we can't have too many words, and also something called redundancy, which is to repeat what we've said. So when we write, you want to say what you have to say concisely, without being redundant. And so we're going to take a look at that and look at what this actually means. Can you see the screen? Hold on. Let me drop it down. I thought I was sharing the screen here. All right, now let's try this again. Come on, paper. Huh. Why are you not wanting to work today? Try this one more time. Okay, so share. There we go. Here it is. Pardon me. So here we go. Concise sentences in writing and editing. Part one, what does concise mean? In some types of writing or genres of writing, the length of the document doesn't matter. For example, in fiction writing, we appreciate having enough description and sensory detail to experience the story. In the past, writers were even paid by the word, so they were motivated to make their stories as long as possible. However, in today's real world writing, especially nonfiction, readers want writers to just get to the point. Bosses may ask us to cut the fluff. Internet readers who are bored will click away or move on if we take too long to say something. Tired or disinterested audiences will close the book or walk away if we're too wordy. In certain industries like journalism, will only allow small amounts of words or have character limits. Think of Twitter, if any of you have ever been on Twitter, and I think it's 140 characters. So today's readers want us to be concise, give the information clearly, but in as few words as possible. Concise writing balances being brief with being complete, which means that some words will be cut completely while other words or phrases will be replaced with shorter ones. So let's look here. A grammar trivia they've thrown up here, and this is good. There's a rule about when to say fewer versus less. Say less when the item cannot be counted, and say few or fewer when it is countable. And here's an example. I like orange juice a lot less than apple juice. And then the second example is the teacher wants me to write the same idea in fewer words, not less words, but fewer words. Okay, so question is then what gets cut when we're writing? So redundancy is things that have already been said. Don't tell me someone is shy and bashful because they're synonyms. They mean the same thing. Wordiness, saying the same idea in too many words. Instead of writing, the singer said on Twitter over and over again that he was a much better singer than his childhood rival. Wouldn't it be quicker to say the singer repeatedly tweeted that he was more talented than his rival? And here we go. This is important. Passive voice. Whenever possible, use the active voice, meaning that many industries prefer sentences with a subject, verb, object, word order. We're not going to use adverbs. We're going to just say the word. For example, instead of saying mistakes were made by the senator, say the senator made a mistake. Okay. Fourth is over explaining, excessive summarizing, or unhelpful details. Sometimes it's helpful to add context clues, background information, or transitions that guide an unfamiliar reader. In other cases, it's extraneous. The word means it's extra, it's not needed. You don't have to do it. So keep in mind who your audience is and whether or not they're going to know what you're writing about. And here we go to the last one, adverbs, but it's controversial. And some writers, like Ernest Hemingway, believe that adverbs are unnecessary because you could use a stronger verb instead. For example, should you say that the villain said loudly? Or would you just say he screamed? You just got to the point and make it impactful. This is what's important, that you make your writing impactful, that what you intend to say comes across. So based on this information, do you think you're already more concise or wordy as a writer? And why do you believe that? So now let's take a little practice here. And let me see if I can open this with the docs so that we can do a couple together. And then I want you to do some of these on your own. It's really important that as we're reading essays for the task and these other exams, TABE, and so on, that you understand what this means because you're graded on those essays. So this should be something that we can take care of, right? Not a big deal. Okay, so here we go with the lesson. Each of the sentences below contains something that should either be cut or completely restated in fewer words. We want to cross out the words that are excessive and replace them if necessary. You can also combine sentences if you want to cut words that way. So here we go. The politician really talked a lot about all of the various voters, volunteers, donors, and workers who had made the new impressive state-of-the-art library possible. So how about the politician talked about all. This is what I'm looking at anyway, as a way to shorten this. He talked about all who had made the library impressive, who had made the new library possible. All of that isn't necessary. So there you go. That would be my new sentence. There you go. Hope you can see that green. So the politician not really talked about, in fact, I would take that word out. The politician talked about all who had made the new library possible. That would be my sentence. Matter of fact, let's get rid of this right here. You got to go bye-bye. And you go bye-bye too. There you go. Politician talked a lot about all who had Or how about he talked about all? You don't have to say he talked a lot. You can get rid of that. Bam, there's a new sentence. Make this all black. Blackety black. There you go. There's a new sentence. Concise, still understanding what he was doing, maybe even thanked all who had made the new library possible, that he talked about them. So let's look at the second sentence, and this is a big boy. Let's move that along. His very well-written lists and presence of the available options for what? His very well-written lists presents many of the available options for online study tools that help students learn. It is recommended that you consider reading the article and taking its advice. Okay. His very well-written lists present, that's an error. I didn't write this one. His lists, how about if we just say his lists? Okay, we don't need all of the fluff. His lists, we'll take that out. Lists present many of the options. You don't even have to say available options. Many of the options for online study tools that help students learn. Now, there's a semicolon. If I wanted, I could make this a second sentence. It's kind of wordy. It is recommended that you consider reading the article and taking its advice. So let's take that out. Because when you put the period, there's a longer pause. And you have two complete thoughts. I mean, you have time to wrap your head around it. So this is what I would do. His list present many of the options for online study tools. How about present options? We don't even have to have that. There we go. What do you think? I think that's more concise, says what it needs to say, and that actually it should have some punctuation there. There we go. Okay. His list present options for online study tools that help students learn. It is recommended that you consider. Here you go, y'all. Okay. So if we were to look at another one, under the current law, new drivers who just got their licenses are not allowed to be driving on the road after 9 p.m. at night. Okay, so how can we fix this? How can we still have the information that we need to have because it's important?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm sorry if you didn't get our information, Mason. We are breaking writing up into 2 lessons now. So 10:30, kind of the grammar stuff, and then 11 are the writing conventions, and then 11:30 are science.
Okay.
So how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is there anything you want to look at when you look at this one, how we could just take out the fluff and still have
I would just say new license holders aren't to be on the road after 9 p.m. at night.
You don't even have to say under the current law, right?
No.
I agree. So we're going to take that out. This is capitalize this here. So this is what we're working on, really, avoiding redundancy, wordiness. New drivers, and we don't have to say who just got their licenses because that's what a new driver is, right?
Yep.
New drivers are not allowed on the road after 9 p.m. We assume that 9 p.m. is night. It's afternoon. Yeah. So there we go with that one. So I think that looks good. Let's see. How many questions are there? Because I want you to take a look at the others. Okay, so there's 6. Okay. I want you to try these. I want you to think about how you write. Still make sure you get the important information in, but all the extra wordiness, let's work on that. And so that people are interested in what you write, that your ideas come across and they don't get bogged down in unnecessary fluff. Sometimes it is just fluff. So we have that first sheet. I thought it was really great. Keep these pages. If you've got a notebook, you can print these off, and they're going to help you when you have these essays coming up. So that's all we have for this portion. I will see you all at 11 o'clock. All right, Mason, thank you. If you want to join us at 11, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, we'll see you all later.